Praise me, revere me. I am here with some guy who I've never met before. Why don't you tell me who you are and tell the people who they are, and also tell them who you are.
I'm just a random guy from the street that was picked up. I'm his drug dealer.
No, I don't do those things. Now tell the people who they are.
Who they are? They're stupid ninjas.
Oh, you heard that, everybody. He said it, not me. Send your hate
Again.
comments to him.
Okay, no, seriously. I'm just some random guy who knows this guy. And we're here to discuss some Tournament of Power BS.
That's right. If you haven't had enough Dragon Ball Super talk, then, well, guess what? Here's some more to throw into the pot. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about the Tournament of Power. And that is, should they just go straight in, just be every episode, be the Tournament of Power, every single episode have nothing in between, just Tournament of Power, in between, just no B plot, no C plot, just the A plot, #1, Tournament of Power. I am on the thought that it should have some type of cutaway, because I'd like to see Goten and Trunks and maybe some other people who didn't go to the Tournament of Power. Maybe even have it lead into them getting some type of viewing platform to see what goes on in the Tournament of Power, because when you got the entire tournament going for your existence, don't you want to know just a little bit what's the outcome is going to be? Or are you just going to be like completely unaware of everything going on? But this man, tell people what you want.
I wanted to just... Okay, you can't deny that coffee is amazing.
Coffee is definitely good. Yes, great for tournaments.
It's the holy grail. It's what keeps me functioning in the day.
That's right. And that's why we're here today to talk to you about how great coffee is.
Exactly. Okay. Anyways, so the reason why I don't want it to be any cutaways is because the Tournament of Power is as big as Dragon Ball could possibly ever get. Think about it. How big can you ever... You can never really top a universal, a multiversal tournament that's going to erase the tournament that loses. Now, that's going to erase the universes that loses. You can't really top that ever in a storyline. Okay, you can have rogue gods that will go that will act like Zamasu, or I don't know, rogue angels like many people are trying to predict. But the Tournament of Powers plot itself is as big as it's going to get. If we then cut away to some Trunks and Goten poacher BS, it's really going to take away from the tension and the seriousness that this plot has built up, because this is as big as it gets. And it needs focus on it. We need to focus on the tournament in itself, because you won't know B or C plot will ever match it, and you will just take away from the tension that's in the tournament already.
Alright, I mean, that's a pretty good point, but to kind of go with what you said, this is one of the biggest arcs like we've had in Dragon Ball. Like, there really isn't much of a way to top it, and I think that we should try and keep this going for that reason. Like, the first episode was said to be 1 minute because he said we have 47 minutes left. The second episode, we really don't know how long that was. I don't really think that would be 1 minute, but the point is, we want this tournament to last a long time. We don't want it to rush like it did in the Zamasu arc near the end, or be something that we just kind of go through. I mean, the Tournament of Power for the most part has been really great. Even the beginning of the Tournament of Power where they were prepping and you were seeing all the other universes, that was cool, and I liked seeing that. And I think that the Tournament of Power has been a success pretty much already. I don't think I've ever been more excited for an arc in Super in a long time, and Dragon Ball really in a long time, since like long ago, back when I just discovered Dragon Ball. I mean, Would you agree with that? I mean, do you think that this is like the biggest thing they've done, like feeling wise? Like, have you ever like really wanted to? 'Cause for me, I never really wanted to get in and watch the episode week to week more than this. Even the Black Zamasu arc, whatever you want to call it, wasn't really drawing me in the same way. I just kept thinking something big is gonna happen, but it felt like that something big never really came, and it was all kind of just, I was excited for what could have been, not what was. But for the Tournament of Power, I'm kind of mixed. It's like I'm excited for what could happen, I'm surprised for what I might see, I'm enjoying like every step of the way. I mean, and I think that there's a good way to fix, that and keep it going. Keep it going by having some stuff in between. We know that Trunks is suspicious about everybody lying about where they're going. I mean, that's been shown by the way that he caught on that Frieza was coming and he's a bad guy, but supposedly he's a good guy now. And then when Marron says to her family, that she's going to miss them and have a good time at work, Trunks is like, well, what do you mean work? And they kind of put up a little subplot about Trunks and Goten messing with some poachers, and that can be fun. I don't think that would be the whole episode, but I think that it'd be a cool way to kind of bring them in. And also it might be pretty cool, and I don't want to get too much into this because I don't want to go into Naruto's territory where we're having flashbacks every 5 steps towards a punch. But it would be nice to see some other universes again and see how they're faring, and if anyone knows in the other universes what's at stake right now. Like, I think that would really make a big difference when we lose a universe, to know that somebody we just met recently who may or may not have gone into our hearts, is now going to be erased as well. Because as it stands, Universe 9 was erased and it was intense, but there was only a handful of people that we knew that we could really feel bad for, really. And because this is so big, what's that?
But see, here's the difference. There's a difference between cutting away to people who knows who the stake of what the tournament is, because that's tournament relevant, and to cut away where Trunks and Goten will try to figure something out, and then they're trying to think about what's happening, but we all know what's happening. There's no big surprise, there's no big reveal, it's just those two characters are trying to figure out something we already know is happening. It would be like as if everybody knew who Zamasu was, okay? Everybody knew who Zamasu was, everybody knew his backstory, and we would sit and watch Goku and the gang trying to figure that out. Because during the Zamasu arc, we thought Zamasu and Black were working together, but we didn't know the backstory. But let's just say we knew everything. We saw Zamasu's perspective, and we needed to watch Goku and the others figure it out. That would be slow and terrible pacing. And then at the same time, we know the poachers are going to get to the Trunks to the island, and so if the poachers come and tries to fuck around with the island, that will be even further terrible pacing, because that is not relevant to the tournament at all. But let's say if you cut away to someone like Bulma, who knows what's happening, who knows about the tournament, and is just sitting there with Bra and just praying that everything is going to be okay, that's okay, that's fine, because this is tournament relevant. That's okay. We see her worrying about the stakes, but cutting away to somebody who doesn't know what the stakes are, who just sits there and just trying to figure it out with something we already know, that's bad mystery, that's bad pacing, and it's dragging out for the sake of dragging out. That's not how you should do things. It's going to be and that's a bad storytelling aspect. But if you, like for example, if we cut away to Universe 6's Renzo, Uniwan Kaba, Khalifa's big brother, right? Once again, he knows about the stakes. Him wondering or talking about the tournament, yeah, that's fine. That's relevant because he knows what's happening. He knows how big the stakes are, and he can feel the tension. Whereas Trunks and Goten don't know about the tension. They have no idea what's happening, and they will just sit there and wait and try to figure out what's happening. And even if they find out what's happening, that there is a tournament, there's no way they would find out it's a multiversal tournament that will erase them, so they won't find out why this is such a big deal anyway. So it will just be slow and bad pacing for the story, and it will drag it out for the sake of dragging out, which is bad.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't think that it... Okay, so the whole poacher thing would go by really fast. It wouldn't even be like a big whole 5 minutes. I mean, it's something they take care of. And Trunks is being suspicious would lead to them not just sitting around being like, oh, I wonder what's happening. I'm trying to say, like, it will lead into them viewing the tournament in some way. Let's say that they... You know, Trunks is suspicious and he knows something's going on, so they have like a scene of him like flying around with Goten that's real quick, you know, and it shows just that nobody is where he was told that they would be, so he gets suspicious. Let's say he goes up to Dende, and Dende has some way for them to view the tournament, you know, because they have like means, like the Kais have crystal balls and stuff like that that they can use. So I'm not saying that we should just cut to Goten and Trunks dicking around just for the sake of having them dicking around. I'm trying to say, like, it should lead, I mean, it could lead into them being a viewing of the tournament, because Goten and Trunks really don't have any development, and that's unfortunate. But you can't just leave like a plot point. It may not be a huge plot point, but you can't just leave a plot point out where Trunks is suspicious, and they've made it visually obvious that he's suspicious when he looks up and he's like wondering like what did Marron was talking about, and he knows people are lying to him. So I mean, you can't just like introduce that from a storytelling perspective and just leave it at that and just be like, come back later. It's like, oh well, you know, we didn't really know if you were telling the truth, but we were suspicious. But they don't do anything about it, because Goten and Trunks, for what their characters are, they are supposed to be like a mischievous kids that kind of, you know, go and do some type of like, not really investigation, but they do a little bit of investigation to find out what's going on, and they become viewers of the tournament, and they get to see all this stuff going on, and then like you can like show them looking in the crystal ball, and then it fades back towards the tournament, and then it focuses on the tournament again. I just think it's nice to have that commentary, because I've enjoyed having, for the most part, Ro is a little bit annoying. I've enjoyed having the commentary of the gods and the Kais during the tournament. It gives us a chance to check out their personality, get to know the characters just a little bit better, and I think that it'd be nice to see Goten and Trunks just kind of reacting to what's going on, and maybe Dende tells them what the tournament's for, and you know, maybe Trunks kind of pries it out of him, and it just kind of gives the lesser characters something to do that doesn't completely destroy the story. It's not like cutting away to the Pilaf gang trying to steal Bra for some reason. No, it's like it comes back around and it's organic to the story. Like, and it's not like we'll lose time. It'll be like time didn't pass in the Tournament of Power when we cut back to it, because we don't really know right now how they're doing the time in the Tournament of Power, because they kind of changed it up from the first episode to the second, where the first episode he tells us how much time has passed, then the second one we're not told at all anything. We're just supposed to think that some extra time has gone by, we just don't know how long. So I'm just saying, like, you can cut away to them, because I don't know, I just feel it's really weird and really off-putting to make a point and not touch upon it later on, like even for a little bit. I'm not saying the whole episode should be Trunks and Goten, but perhaps they should be more involved in the series, because they've been teasing something with them too, with the training and getting stronger. I'd hate to just see all that go to waste just to focus on fighting, and sometimes it doesn't hurt to get some exposition outside instead of just another episode full of fighting, because you kind of need that break in between, and they kind of need that break in between. Like, what if there's like a big episode coming up with like some really good animation? You need that kind of break in between to give them time to make the best type of episode they can. And I think that that's why they should cut away from it. I don't think it should be the Tournament of Power all the time, because, well, mainly because they need time to animate really good scenes. Otherwise, you'll get people complaining about the reusing animation again and all that. So I think if you do that, you give them time to
They will
work on those
reuse
bigger
animation
scenes.
anyway.
What's that?
But see, they will reuse animation anyway. But anyway, one of the big thing is that most of that is going to be exposition that we already know. It's going to be Dende explaining the Tournament of Power again, the rules, everything. Everything is like shit we already know. Everything like that should be done completely off screen because we shouldn't be forced to watch something that's happened already, something that we know be explained to us again, which is something the Zamasu arc did wrong, which is something the universe, which is something Dragon Ball Super has done wrong on its own. It's explained shit we know again and again and again and again, and it just becomes stretched out for the sake of being stretched out. If it's like I said, if you cut to Trunks and Goten watching the tournament, you can have a flashback, a quick flashback, or just a quick explanation of how they got there. You don't need the whole cutaway of how they got there. You don't need to see them be suspicious. You don't need to see them trying to figure it out. It could just be, yep, they figured it out. And it will just be a line. Yeah, they figured it out. They got us. They got us. You could just have like a quick look at, okay, Ball Bash Crystal Ball, right? You could just have a quick cutaway to Goten and Trunks be watching the tournament, and you could have just Dende in the background saying, oh yeah, they were smarter than we thought. They figured it out in the end. And then we go back to the fighting, or you have Bulma just having some snarky lines at Dende not being able to hide it, etc., etc. Things like that. That's okay, but we don't need the whole story of Trunks being suspicious, of him going away, of him trying to figure out what's going on, and then eventually figuring out what's going on, because that's like, we know what's happening, we know what it is. It will be an unnecessary exposition for the viewer, it will be unnecessary exposition for story. All you need is a quick getaway. Is like, yeah, okay, we got it. Okay, they're watching, they figured it out, it's done, back to the main plotline, and then you can have those cutaways with the commentaries of people watching the tournament, which is fine because that's relevant to the tournament. But if they go around and it's like, oh no, I don't know what's going on, oh no, okay, blah blah blah, and then him and Goten are trying to discuss on what's going on, or trying to are having this big in-depth, okay, maybe not in-depth conversation, this small conversation of what's going on, what do we do, on and on and on and on, right? That's like, they will literally be asking questions about things we as the viewer know. Yes, I know Goten and Trunks and doesn't know about it, but they know something is, something is up. But we know what's up. They don't. Us figuring out, them knowing what we know, what most of the characters know, is bad storytelling. All you need is a quick cutaway for them. Like I said, just have the line of Dende saying, oh yeah, they were smarter than we thought. And then you can have the small commentaries, which is fine. Having small commentaries on the tournament, yes, that's completely fine. But it's a bad storytelling thing to have them go around figuring out what's happening. However, I will also counter with the benefit of that is that what you said about the animation. If there is a very, very big moment, like let's say the old climax between Goku versus Jiren, it's a three-parter. Let's just say it's a three-parter, and those three-parter need top-tier animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having a cutaway of 10 minutes, yes, that will actually save them much time. So from an animation point of view, yeah, okay, if they bring back a cutaway, from an animation point of view, okay, yeah, if the next fight is the hype one, I'll be okay, fine, okay, I understand why this was done. But I'm just saying from a story point of view, I'm not looking from animation point of view right now. I'm looking from a story point of view. It will be exposition for exposition's sake, which is unnecessary, which is bad. You can have cutaways, but you don't need the cutaway plot line, if you get what I mean.
Okay, so that's, yeah. Well, the way I'm seeing it is like it's not like a whole thing of just a whole episode or a whole half an episode of them trying to figure it out. I'm thinking more like what they would do is they do like cutaways to like show that something's going on, and then let's say they go to the lookout and they look at Dende and Trunks is like, I know something's going on, and then Dende just kind of looks like, oh man, and then we cut back to the Tournament of Power. Then we see some of the Tournament of Power, then we cut back, and then like that's where Trunks is already, he has already been told all this, so he's not, it's not like they're gonna like retell us. They're just gonna like cut back and forth, like maybe like have a beginning where Trunks is suspicious, so he's like something's going on, so they go fly around real quick, see nobody's where they said they were, then go to the lookout and, you know, kind of put Dende in a sticky situation, and then we cut to the Tournament of Power. And that's in that time of Tournament of Power, you could see that, you know, when we come back, they cut back to them, and it turns out that they know everything. You can see them kind of reacting, you know, to what's going on, and then trying to find out a way to watch. Then Dende might have some way, or he might call in Baba, who knows. And then we go back to the Tournament of Power through the little ball. So I'm not trying to say a whole episode should involve it. I just think it would be nice to kind of cut away. But it's more of, do you think they will do it? Because I do see them doing that every now and again. Just because, like you said, that Super's been kind of doing that thing already with a lot of arcs.
Yeah, but well, okay, they haven't been doing those cutaways in that sense. But for example, Bulma explaining the time paradox, which we already knew. Yeah. She literally just retold what Zamasu told them.
Well, that was bad.
Which was, yeah, just like I'm saying, you're just giving us exposition we already know, or how how in Universe 6, the Universe 6 tournament, we were told about how Zeno could destroy all the universes and blah blah blah, and how dangerous he was. And then we cut our way to the beginning of the Black Arc, and we start with the same dialogue he said during Universe 6, and he literally starts with the sentence, "You know this already," and then he continues to explain anyway, which like, no.
Cutaways could fix. That way they don't have to re-explain it. Like, I think they did in one of the episodes with him when Goku met 17. They didn't have him talking about the stakes. They just kind of cut away to something else, and then when it came back, 17 was like, oh, so that's what's going on. Like, we don't have to see it. We don't have to hear them talk about it. We just have to know that it happened. And then these scenes could be like, maybe like 2 minutes at most, like real quick scenes that don't really offer anything to the Tournament of Power part, but kind of help grow Goten and Trunks a little bit, and also it kind of puts an end to that little subplot they kind of hinted at with Trunks being suspicious about things.
But wouldn't it be better if they just cut away to Goten and Trunks looking in the ball, and then you just have Danny as like, oops, they were too smart, they figured it out anyway, and they got it up. And then Pope, Mr. Then you'll just have Mr. Pope. You can just basically have Dende and Mr. Popo in 2 minutes sum up what happened. It's just like they got suspicious. They started looking for people. They came up here, and we called Baba over because they wanted to watch the tournament
that way. Or
because that would be much better than having them fly around because it's much quicker and you get the same point across.
Yeah, I get that. Or they could have them go to Dende and be like, take me to the Tournament of Power. So Dende is forced to take her to the Tournament of Power. They come to the Tournament of Power, turn into Gotenks instantly, and then they use a whole bunch of ghost kamikazes, blowing up everybody in the arena, leaving only Goku and Jiren left, with Gohan just like in the corner, holding his shoulder or something in pain. And then like out of nowhere they defuse and Jiren one-shots them out of the tournament, and Goku's just like, whoa, what's going on? And then Jiren and Goku have an epic fight, and then like the whole tournament of power explodes, and the Grand Priest is like, no, I don't like that. This is not how we like it. So it turns out he's evil, so he makes some kind of evil gesture, and Goku tries to stop him, and then everything just goes crazy. The Xenos, they try to stop the Grand Priest,
and then Gotenks turns out to be Zamasu, because everybody is Zamasu.
Everybody's Zamasu. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Anyway.
No, but that time it was Zeno. This time it's Gotenks.
Now it's Gotenks.
It's Gotenks Black. It's Gotenks Black.
The lesson here is, folks, Zamasu is everywhere. Hashtag Zamasu is everywhere. Everybody except from the Universe 7 fighters and Gotenks. No, yeah, everybody except from Team Universe 7 and Gotenks is Zamasu. Yes. And they all fuse together to make the ultimate merge Zamasu, and then Goku has to take him on, but he can't. Vegeta has to take him on, and he can't. Gohan suggest fusion, and Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, and Gotenks are going to do a three-way fusion, but Gohan misses the but Gohan fucks up, falls off the ring, and lands at the stage. But this time, for some reason, he's just erased. And then
so it's once again
Vegeta on the floor because he was still there. So he picks up the earring and puts it to that little like thing that looks like his ear, and then him and Goku fuse together to make Hoku.
No, him and Vegito.
Oh, him and Vegito. So Vegito Hito, and they're all gonna be like a purple dude with a trench coat and the Super Saiyan hair, and he's all gonna be cocky. He's gonna have the Tokotobashi, and it's gonna be crazy. And he's gonna take on the Grand Priest, who ends up being like Zamasu as well.
And then people are gonna ask why he doesn't defuse, because for some reason the Tokotobashi just stops the fusion.
He uses the Tokotobashi to stop time, so he doesn't defuse.
It's now permanent, and then Vegito thinks this is going too far, so he just uses his new time wrapping power to travel back in time, kill Beerus. He literally kills Beerus, and then GT happens.
Vegito. Oh man.
Vegeta travels back before Beerus travels to Earth. He kills Beerus, and then GT happens, and then we just
and it leads into GT.
Yeah, a remastered version, a reanimated GT, Dragon Ball GT Kai.
Oh, that was great. Okay, this kind of got a little bit away from it, but what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, even though the only people who will probably be commenting is the people in this video. But I hope you had a good time. Hope we had a we had a good discussion there until at the end we kind of went a little crazy. But just remember to praise and revere only me. My guests don't need to be anything. They're just there until I fuse to turn into the ultimate being. You know how it goes. But anyway, you got anything to say before we go? You want to whore anything out? Anybody out?
You know what?
Any
always
coffee
whore
brands out.
You know what? I'm gonna whore out the milk brand in Norway. Because Norway has the best milk in the world, and if you disagree, you're a fucking idiot.
Balls in your court, Sweden.
That's all I'm going to say. Also, if you like Dokkan Battle, as I always do when I'm here, go to DragonBallZ Dokkan Battle Gaming Lounge.
Awesome. Alright,
remember,
he's not done yet. Go ahead.
So I said I always whore out the group. Oh, and drink Norwegian milk, if you get your hands on it.
Yes. If you can get it, if you can get to the black market, is great. Go do it. So, be sure to bring divinity to my channel by ringing that bell, and make sure the phoenix rises in its ultimate glory. We'll see you around the next time. This video was under an hour. Everybody recognize that. And again, if you made it this far, hashtag Zamasu's everywhere. Goodbye, you ningen.
Kaio-Ken!